men panel. So you all, please, you got to watch part 1 to get into the hotness of part 2. So we welcome you to the Talk of Life talk show with Elma, Kimberley, and Linda. And we have guest hosts tonight. We have Kathy, Marian, and Penny is going to be on here. And we're going to be asking these men over here all of these questions that your inquiry mind want to know, okay? So Philippians 1:6 says, whatever God started in you, he will finish until he comes back. But read it for yourself, because I just interpreted it, easy for you to understand, okay? All right, so tonight, my motivational is, if you really want to do something, you will do it. If not, you will make up an excuse. So when people start making an excuse, they don't want to do it. Okay? All right. So part 1 was really hot. These women wouldn't even ask any questions. They were so bedazzled by all the comments that these men were saying. Even Kimberley wasn't even saying anything. I guess because her husband is on the panel, okay? But tonight we're so blessed to have my husband, Pastor and Apostle Glen Kirkwood of the Church Witten International Ministry. We have Christopher Witten, and this is his beautiful wife, Kathy. And we have Keith Jeffries, and that's his other half over there, Kimberley, our model too, y'all. And then we have Doggy Storm. Doggy in the house. And we have one of our other ministers, the Lord Johnson. Not the Lord, but the Lord. Okay? Because he ain't nowhere close to the Lord. Okay, but anyway, we're going to have a good time tonight. So we're going to be brave enough to ask these questions that you all will not put at the bottom of the screen, okay? But if you do have one, please put at the bottom of the screen, and we're gonna try to get to your answer. Okay, so who's gonna ask the question first over here?
I have.
Okay, Marian's gonna ask the first question. Come on, Marian.
The first question is, as a married man, what would drive a married man to cheat?
Ooh, that's a good one. Okay, married men, 1, 2, 3.
Don't nobody answer that one.
I know.
He said don't answer that.
My birthday. I'm not going to answer that question.
We're not going to divorce you, all right? Y'all not going to divorce.
Next question.
The apostles' faith,
Next
but Keith
question.
and Christopher went, no. We shall
I
not.
call those marriage trap questions.
Oh, marriage trap
Marriage
question.
trap,
I'll answer the question
Okay,
because I
keep
have
it
no
going.
problem answering the question.
Okay.
What causes a man to cheat when you don't get enough grapes? When you don't get enough grapes, then you go cheat and go get you some apples or something. We get something to eat.
Do another fruit.
So we cheat on food. What else you talking about?
What about the chicken?
Yeah.
We cheat on chicken. We beat
I
calories.
like that answer. That was a good trap question, but that was a good
He
answer.
said you're not going
Hey,
to.
But-
that's what we talking about, food?
We know y'all not going to cheat, but what would you, what was the question again, just in case there are some out there?
When men are married, what would be a factor that would drive them to cheat?
Not saying that y'all cheat,
That you
but what
would
would be a
cheat, but what would
factor?
be a factor?
Yeah, that would drive them to cheat.
There are various interpretations of that word.
Okay, good.
You know, because some feel that an emotional attachment would be cheating, while others would feel that a physical relationship. You can also have a spiritual relationship with somebody else. You can esteem some person above your spouse. Well, Bishop so-and-so said we should be doing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's true.
Okay.
And then you use that because of the fact that maybe you guys attend the same church, and you use that as spiritual manipulation because of the fact that you have esteemed that person. Or maybe the fact that there was somebody who just touched a need that either the man didn't express, because a lot of times, and I can only speak for me, I didn't know truthfully all of my needs until I met my wife. When she started to be able to tear the layers of hurt and pain and help me to get down to bedrock and then build from that, I realized that what she was providing for me, I was missing out, and I didn't even know. I didn't know what it was like to be loved and respected and talked to, not talked at, but talked to. But to get to your question,
what would be a factor?
a factor would be if in the event that there was a need not met, and not necessarily sexually.
Right, good point.
There could be anger and strife and division, so much so forth that man would seek solemn or peace somewhere else. And it doesn't have to be sexual. It has to be sex. It can be the fact that, and I'll go one step further, a man can cheat with his best friend, meaning the fact that his best friend is providing that agreement, that peace, that whatever that man has been longing for, or his family. He can develop an emotional attachment or a spiritual attachment, whatever the case. So we have to develop a line of communication.
Yeah.
And you have to be honest. And sometimes this is what we do when she'll ask me a question and I can't answer it at that time, because I don't know. I've never been asked that question before. So I have to, I tell her, I said, look, anything I say would just be a lie right now because I'm just making it up off the top of my head. Right. I have to shelve that question and then pray, fast, and be real with myself and say, how do I feel about that? And then come back and say, hey, remember that question that you asked me 3 weeks ago? I think I have an answer for you.
He will wait.
But as we continue to dive into that question, we can be able to develop that bond that brings us even closer. So I guess it would be, that would be my understanding of what.
What would be a factor to anybody? What you would think? What would be a factor that would cause a married man to go out and cheat?
Let me make sure I grab this mic so everybody can hear. If there's some cheating going on, there's some doggy style going on.
Okay, doggy style.
That's the bottom line.
Okay, now what do you
Now
mean?
we ain't cheating. I'm not cheating with this woman, and we over here playing Xbox. Okay. I'm not cheating with this woman, and what you cheating? Because me and this woman, we over here reading Psalm 12. We ain't reading Psalm 12. There's some doggy style going on up in here somewhere. Whenever you hear of a man cheating, you gonna always hear the rumor of doggy style. I call them victims of doggy style. If your man cheating, you better understand there's some doggy style going on somewhere. So lack of doggy style, number one reason why men cheat. Woman who nag all the time. If you nagging and fussing and irritating a man all the time, you gonna get cheated on. Because he gonna go to the strip club.
Nobody that don't nag.
Oh yeah, she not gonna nag at all.
Cause she on
you such a good man. You smell so good. Boy, I know you married, cause you not married? Boy, all the good ones are gone. I know you married. Girl, he ain't married. He lying, he married. And the man over there just eating it up.
That's right.
Let me see your hands. Ooh, you don't work with your hands. You must work in the office. Well, I do. I have my own insurance agency. Oh wow, you're an entrepreneur. He's an entrepreneur.
And
You don't know nothing. So when she go home, and when he goes home, and walks in the door, then I got a bad phrase for you, but this is what it is. He ain't nothing but that nigga. That's all he is. No respect, no honor, no nothing. And so when you don't respect and honor your man and you don't value him, then you've opened up the door for the cleanup woman.
That's right.
Cleanup woman.
And she's gonna come in and she's gonna talk sweet to that man. She's gonna tell him he's
That's
nice.
right. Come on.
She's gonna tell him he looks nice, he smells nice. She's gonna tell him, but you are a good father. You a good father. You a good man.
And that'll be $20.
Any woman ought to be happy to have.
He said that'd be
For the next 20
$20.
minutes.
And so that will cause a man to, that's a trap set that a man will fall into. When a man has a broken home, you know, I always say what you got to do. What you got to do is you have to milk the cow. If you don't milk that cow before he leave, then somebody else will milk him. And what you refuse to do, there's always another woman out there who will do what you don't do. Oh, I don't do that.
Oh, yeah.
What you don't do and what you won't do, somebody will.
That's right. Good point.
And so it's very important.
Do that, and he still goes out.
Good point.
Now, when you do that, that means he's either lost, it's something there. It's either loss of respect. He doesn't feel like he's valued. If that man feels like he's loved, valued, cherished, he's encouraged, he'll never leave that house. Because that's it for him. When he feels respected, he feels valuable, and he feels, you don't never tell a man, I don't need you. Because that's a man's whole thing. She needs me. I'm a provider.
Okay.
You tell a man, I don't need you, you just shut him down. And once you shut him down, it's hard to get him turned back on. Because he feel like, what you want me for? You don't need me.
Whoa. Y'all got another question?
Yes, Keith, can I get $50? I need you.
You said it. It must be right.
What were you finna say, Brother DeLong?
Even though I'm like the man that's not married. I've been married, y'all. But one of the things that'll make a man go and be with somebody else is that there's so much friction in the house, and then the woman will say, I ain't giving you none, just don't touch me. And this will go on for so long, and then he'll go out and he'll get him somewhere else.
Grapes? Is it grapes? Is he getting grapes or apples?
She said you get grapes or apples.
Another fruit.
But that's a good point,
Yeah.
though. Because, you know, sometimes that's what women will do. They'll hold back the sex from the man, thinking they punishing him. And then you already hearing all this before you knew it. They done went out there, like you said, got it somewhere else
Right.
and everything.
That forces a man to the streets. It's like sometimes a woman would think, well,
Put your
I'm the
mic
only
closer,
one.
Doggy style.
I'm the only one, without realizing in their mind that there's so many women out there waiting to wreck your home.
Thank you.
There's so many women
Yes,
out
it
there
is. Yes,
just
it is.
waiting to destroy. You know, they don't really want your man.
They
They don't want you to have him.
Ooh. That is, say that again, Doggy Style. Say
They
that.
don't want your man. Your man got issues.
That's
Don't
right.
nobody love him but you.
That's right.
But they want to get him out.
But that's
Once
a
they
good
get him
point.
out, then they drop him. And so there you go. You by yourself, he by himself.
And you know, I had a young lady that actually said that. I don't want the man. I just want to mess him up. And they would even leave little stuff like their underwear or earrings so the woman could find it in the car, you know, so that they could mess up. They don't really want you. They just want, and some women will do that too because they'll be jealous of how you and your man is getting along. So they try to come in to what? To mess it up.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
I like that. You all right with me. Okay, what's another question, women?
Let's see.
She had a question.
Okay, what is when you're married and you've been married, and say before you got married, during your dating time and stuff, he wowed you, he flowered, he did everything for you. Then you get married and, you know, years pass by and he gets comfortable and he does nothing. What do you do to bring him back around to still do those things that he used
That he
to
winged
do,
you in on.
that he got you with?
You want me to answer that?
Yes, Kimberley, I want you to answer that.
But Kimmy, you can't answer because you're not a man.
He said, what does a woman do to bring him back around?
Well,
Spend his money.
from
Just go spend the money. He don't buy you no flowers. You got the account, go buy your own flowers. He gonna see them. He gonna see it. Go and do what you need to do to keep your
Yeah.
marriage together.
I wish
think,
you would go buy some flowers.
Don't
I see him
argue.
sitting up in there. I wish you would.
Don't
Hello.
argue about
Somebody say
stuff
something.
like that. You know what
No,
I'm saying?
you know
Don't
what?
let
I've
that
been sleeping
That
now.
stop you.
don't let that stop your marriage and make your marriage fall apart when you know he's valuable. He's a high valued man.
Mhm.
When he's a high valued man, there's just some things you gotta stir the pot, right? Bible says you stir up the gift that's within you. So to me, you whatever that gift may bring it. That's what I'm saying. Whatever that gift may be. So
Now,
some
when she
things.
says stir up the gift,
Exactly.
she's talking about stir up Victoria's Secret. See what kind of secrets
Exactly.
she got.
Well, yeah, that's what we saying.
So,
Give.
what
We
you gotta
saying
do
give.
is, when the man,
That's what we saying.
what a man does is he starts to see you. First, he sees you as you know, the freak of the week,
Mhm.
the woman. But now he starts to see you as the mother.
Right.
Okay.
When in his mind you flip from woman to mother, then in his mind you're no longer his woman.
'Cause
And
now the
so
mother kicks
what
in.
you've got to do is, I know, but this is what happens in a marriage. You got to keep your freak on. Now, if you go to bed, and I know it's cold outside, and you got to put on some long pajamas, and then you wrap up your head, and you put mentholatum on your chest and all that kind of stuff when you go to bed, and you don't go to bed moist and smelling good. See, that man gonna see you as mama, and once he see you as mama, now one thing, when he see you as mama, then it's easy to cheat. Because in his mind, he had a mother at home, yet he went to go hook up with women. So when he sees you as a mother, then it's easy for him to go out because he sees you as mother. He sees her as woman. So he see you as mother. Here's mama, here's $50 to go buy some groceries. Then he go to the strip club and he make it rain, using all the bill money.
And then we gonna be mad. We gonna really be the mother
He
then.
give you $50 to go get
30
groceries for the whole week. And now
Right,
there's
Doc,
an argument
maybe
at
I
the
know
house
how long
because
you
you
been
ain't bought no T-bone steak.
Otto, how long you been married? 30?
40 years.
40, I'm sorry.
You've been married 40 years?
Mhm.
And he still look good to be
I
married
am not.
40
Hey,
years.
he's still making it rain.
Look. He say still making it rain.
So that's the thing, keeping a marriage alive. You can't let that image of you're a woman slip to now you're just a mother. See, mothers nag, mothers complain, mothers, you better get in here. Mothers, put it, where you going? See, now he sees you as a mother. He's got a curfew. You gotta ask before you buy something. What's that you got in your hand? You done bought another phone? What did I tell you? Okay, now he sees you as a mother. So, and then, who's that, man? Oh, that's my old lady. Oh, don't let him say that.
That's the reason why they say
Don't
old
say
lady.
that.
Old lady.
Don't let him
If that's
say
the reason
that.
why they say
Oh,
old lady,
yeah.
you better not ever
That's
call
my
me
old
no
lady.
old lady.
What's that? Oh, man,
Yeah, like a
say, man, they be like this. Oh, say, man, I gotta go. My old lady just walked in, man. All right.
Oh,
I never used them words.
Look, Keith said he using those words.
See, in his mind, that's my old
I
lady.
haven't heard those words.
You better not.
What was your
You
question?
never
Yeah.
will.
Did you have a question?
I did have a question. Two things I see a lot of right now. I see a lot of domestic violence,
Yes.
and it isn't always the man towards the woman.
Right.
Sometimes it's the woman
Towards the
man.
That's
I
right.
see. So just because of some of the work I've done, I see a lot of young men dating young women, and it's like the young women will try to get them to fight. Do you know what I mean? Like they're gonna yell at them and cuss at them until they get a rise out of them. It's almost like, I can't prove you love me until you're mad at me or until you hit me or something like that. So how do men handle that kind of provocation? Like if you had to tell a young man that's in a relationship with a young woman, it's like, okay, she's gonna end up getting you in jail. Do you know what I mean? Because usually when the situation comes out, it's rare. I mean, it still happens, but it's rare that the first thought is to look at the woman.
Right.
So what would you tell a young man or people that are out there trying to date? Because I've seen it with the young people so much.
I saw that, I think it was the Hallmark Channel. And when the lady gets mad, she slaps the man. Y'all ever notice that in a lot of the movies?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Why are movies showing that if a man doesn't do anything right, he gets slapped? But in reality, if the man slaps it, he gonna slap back. I mean, why are you standing there slapping somebody? But have you noticed that I was watching the Hallmark Channel and it just kept going? And I mean, like, how many times they gonna slap these dudes? This is crazy. I didn't realize how much we see that on TV. So a lot of that could be built in. So I guess when the woman is upset, she said, "Bobby, how can you do that? Oh, you embarrassed me." Oh, and he's just standing there taking it. But the reality of it is they're not gonna take that.
No.
I understand that's why it's Hallmark, but when you see that over and over again, it builds something in your subconscious mind that you go out and you're acting out shows
What you
that
seen
you
on
see
TV.
on TV.
Yeah.
That's what that's what love. That's what
But a
love
lot of
looks
it is, and the reason I say TV is because you're sitting there watching it over. You may watch
Over
that
and
show
over again.
100
And
times.
then you start getting that spirit on you, and you think you can do it. Then when that man slapped the hell out of you,
And how,
then you
right?
be like,
Oh,
That's right.
you know,
and be mad. You're gonna be the first one to be mad, even though you're the one that threw hands first. But it's like, I can't believe you hit me. I'm calling whoever.
right.
You know,
Right,
we-
right. It
we-
does
Protecting
happen.
himself.
Men,
It's
we have to
self-defense.
hold our peace and not allow us to get us in that place that we do hit them back. Because like you said, they gonna come take the man. And I had one friend, they took the woman because he had a big bite mark right here
Ooh.
that shown that she was doing it. But as a general rule, we can't win. We cannot win. So all we can do in a situation like that, what I used to tell my employees, and I used my boss, anytime I ain't like something he say, it's time to go to the bathroom. Because once you say something, you can't take it back.
That's right.
So sometimes you have to remove yourself from the situation. And when someone's trying to fight you or trying to get you to fight, they see the second person and not the first person. So they're gonna see you hitting her more than they're gonna see her hitting you. So remove yourself from the situation. My kids are not violent, but I always told them, don't hit a woman. Leave the situation. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to be abused.
Right.
But you don't need to hit anyone because then they'll make it worse than what it is if you do. And so just well, you know, and a lot of time in questions like that, most people on this panel don't even relate to it. So we don't really have an answer for why they do that, because that's more of a younger generation thing you see.
Well, they're raised by the younger generation is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Because they are raised. If you ever listen to hip hop. The hip hop generation is a little bit different because they're influenced by that,
Right.
and unfortunately they're a product of their environment. And a lot of women feel like they got a weak man. If you know, a lot of men in the younger generation, we've got a lot of weak men in the young generation. I'm talking about a lot of weak men. Sometimes men unknowingly they're raised by single moms, and sometimes being raised by single moms without that male figure there to toughen them up, they become soft. And not saying single moms don't do a good job, they do, but some things only a man can teach a young man.
Exactly. I believe
And they become kind of feminine and kind of weak. And when they get with a woman, then the woman is kind of, she's a product of her environment, and she's seen violence towards her mother. She's seen violence, and now she said, nobody's going to do that to me. So she becomes the aggressor. And so you have to, one of the best ways, you have to grab her and let her know, hey, we don't need this. She doesn't need that as part of her security. I'm not going to run over you. She needs to be, you have to really validate her, because you're dealing with a lot of baggage, a lot of issues. So you have to say, hey, we don't need to hit each other. We're supposed to love each other, and really sit down. I saw this person happen to my mother, and I swore nobody would ever hit me. Well, I'm not going to hit you. That's not what this is about. And so the young people really have to have that conversation. And when you have that violence and anger in that relationship, and it's coming from the woman, it also comes from the man. It can also come from frustration.
Yeah.
Social media causes frustration. You see somebody with Gucci shoes, but your man can't buy them because they're $800.
Ooh.
You see a woman on here who you think has all this jewelry, and you want your man to buy you
That's
5
right.
carats,
Uh-huh.
but he can't afford it. He brings you a half a carat, no carat at all.
A record needle.
So
Yeah.
sprinkles. And so
He said sprinkles.
that comes from being dissatisfied. It's so easy in a relationship to become angry because you're just unhappy. You're dissatisfied. You know, we riding around in an '88 Honda Accord with no AC, and then somebody passes by in the Benz. And then you watching Instagram all day and you see all these people living and doing this, and so you become frustrated. And so you're you're going to take out your frustration on the person closest to you.
That's right.
That is true.
He's the closest to you, and vice versa. The woman is closest to the man. So if he's frustrated, he's going to take it out on her.
Yeah.
So those are complex relationships and issues, and they, you have to, the only way to get past that, you've got to talk about it. And first you have to understand what's going on.
Right.
And then you have to talk about it. You've got to solve it. And if you can't solve it, then unfortunately you got to end the relationship with that person.
Yeah.
But can a woman change a man?
No.
No. No.
But they say they think they can.
No.
I call it rehabs.
But you heard that before. I know where a woman think that, well, we're dating now, but when I marry him,
He'll change.
he'll change to what I want.
Now,
Is
he
that a
will
true
change.
statement?
He will change. He'll get worse.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he will change.
But it won't be because of her.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was listening to a teaching on that, even towards marriage and stuff. When I really learned something from it because of I hadn't been married and just thinking about how she feels instead of myself. Although a woman needs something a man doesn't need, and a man is just see what I'm saying. And it was talking about how a woman will get in a relationship looking at what she gonna change in him.
Yep.
I really admire him, but I'm gonna change his friends. I'm gonna change how he dressed. I'm picking all the things I'm gonna change. But I like everything about him. But I'm gonna change
everything.
But the man get in there thinking she's not gonna change. She's not gonna change nothing.
Wow.
Appearance, everything is gonna be just like this, and nothing's gonna change. But the problem is, both of them will find out they wrong. On both sides.
Right.
Because
That's right.
what happens is, what did you go through to get you where you are right now? What kind of lifestyle? How were you raised? You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
It's gonna affect you in good ways and bad ways, whether the father was there or the mother. All of these things are gonna affect you because now you're gonna get where you need to go, but it's gonna make it harder. So with that young man, the father wasn't there at all. Now he's got to decide on his own how I get through all of this. What is a man? What is a man? Because there's nobody around there talking. One of the guys, I don't want a whole lot of time. I remember one of my friends, and he was kind of a guy like to play around and do a lot of things. I just ride with him talking. He said, "Man, I got a son, teenage son. I want you to go meet him." So I was riding with him, and so I met him, and I met the the mother and all of that. But what he didn't know, the boy was like about 13 years old, and he came over to me while he got away from me. He said, "Are you a real good friend of my daddy?" I said, "Well, yeah, I guess, I know it." He said, "Could you tell me what kind of man he is?" And that told me up.
What kind of man he is.
I didn't know what to say.
It broke my heart.
And I'm thinking about, bro, you telling me all these other things you doing, how you dressing, how you did this and that, and then your son gonna ask me,
What kind of man you are?
what kind of man
Wow.
he should be telling me what kind of man.
Yeah.
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 But he was being honest, I do the boy.
Yeah.
And I went, oh man. So now he got to struggle through all of this, what he hears, how his mother was raising him and everything, trying to decide, now what am I going to do?
Wow.
Well, it's likewise with a lot of young ladies without their father and all of that. And most of the time they'll pick an image off the TV.
Yeah.
My favorite show.
Like him.
And my husband gonna be just like him. Guess what? He's not gonna
Right,
end up like
right.
him.
They do.
Yeah.
They do.
They do.
That's
This is
exactly
how
what they
he's
do.
gonna dress on and on and
Or they
on.
pick somebody
So
off
we go through
Instagram.
all kinds of struggles like that, and so that abuse will come from the man and the woman because of trying to find out who you are.
Most of them, unfortunately, pick entertainers like rappers.
And then that's right. That's what they got it.
Yes.
So most of them right now, they're gonna get all of that through there.
Right.
They'll know the song,
And them-
every word in it, all the way
And don't
through
know
it.
what they say.
Now, what if you call it every word come out is a B?
Well, okay, I'm gonna speak to that, and I can understand why women do that because they want a high-valued man, and a high-valued man. The thing we're not talking about is finances. Women want to be able to not W-O-R-K. It's a 4-letter word. They don't want to have to work. Okay, they want to be able to be at home, live in this nice house. Okay, send the kids to the private school
Like
or
the
wherever,
housewives.
get their hair done. Housewife or not, it doesn't even have to be. Before there was the housewives, women still desired this, and this is something we don't talk about. They don't want to work.
Excuse me,
Because-
Kimmy. Did you say work or twerk?
Bo, take your pick. But I mean, this is the thing that we haven't talked about on either segment is a high-valued man with finances. When I say a high-valued man, I mean his income. Is he 6-figure? Is he 100-air or 1,000-air? That makes a difference on how that woman is going to live. If she's gonna be able to get her hair done, her nails done, go to the spa, go on trips, you know, what kind of house she's gonna live in, what kind of car she's gonna drive, all that matters. And that's something that we're not talking about. So a lot of times an entertainer or an NFL football player will look like amazing because I don't want to have to work. Okay, that's number one. I don't want to have to go in the rain, snow, hurricane, tornado, you name it. I don't want to have to do that and go work for someone else. Then come home, juggle the kids, juggle dinner, juggle sex, whatever else y'all want to juggle, and still look good. Am I right?
Yeah.
I want a tummy tuck, breast lift, you name it. I want everything lifted up and turned around and tightened up. So when a woman is thinking about choosing a man, she's looking at his income. She's looking at the toys that she can get.
This your wife. This your
Period.
wife.
I mean, that's why these
This your
shows.
wife, man.
That's
But
why
she's
these
telling-
shows are so popular, but we don't talk about these things. This
But
is why
she's
these
telling
shows
the
are
truth.
popular
She's
because
telling the
women
truth.
want
Keep it
things.
straight. But
Men want sex. Women
Women
want
want
things. Like
things.
somebody there was a saying years ago, and the person said, the guys always want to know, can you cook? And the young lady said, can you build a house? Because if you can't build a house, you don't need to be talking to me. I said, why not think about that when I was young? You always want to know if a woman can cook, but what can you do for me? What is the question that we ask a man when we first meet a man? Can you build a house? What kind of job you got? Do you have the potential to make a certain amount of income? Are you going to always be working here? Are you going to be an entrepreneur? Are you going to do this? We don't ask that question.
But
We
they
just
do
bring in
now.
pies and cakes.
No, but
we bring in
but
pies,
you
cakes, and
see-
cookies.
You see more of that now, but the one thing
Right,
that we
these young
see
people
a
want
lot
stuff.
is like you were talking about how on Instagram, because we're always looking at somebody's highlight reel. We're
Yeah.
always looking at the high points of their life.
Well,
They
even
got-
before
but
that, you had another lady in the neighborhood or somebody you knew that
But-
lived a certain life.
and you were
lifestyle.
That lived
aspiring
that
to that.
lifestyle,
But
right.
the thing that we learned growing up, and you know, like older people say, just keep living. Because sometimes, even though she's got the red bottoms and the Louis and the weave
Well,
down
it
the
could
middle
be
of her
shoe
back,
deal. It could be shoe deal.
but whatever it is,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean. So what we've learned or what we're seeing on social media, sometimes women will exchange respect for the things.
That's right.
And there's
Right.
nothing, but there's nothing wrong with wanting a man that can bring something to to the table. Like when you sit down, like, you know, we tell people like when they're going through marriage counseling, I said, you guys need to pull each other's credit. That way there's no surprise, you know, because you could be dealing with the spirit of child support, you know,
Right,
for
right.
like
You
for
got
however
child support.
long, you know, you
Yeah.
got to ask the
Yeah.
Holy Ghost for
Right.
deliverance from that spirit. But what I'm saying is when women are looking on the internet, and it's not just young people,
No, it's not young
because
people.
I see older
It's
women
older
all the
women.
time that are saying, you know, this is how I want to live. And sometimes people don't realize how expensive it is to be a woman. Like it was so funny when we got married, Christopher, he turned around in one moment and he was like, okay, you're high maintenance. You're high maintenance. And I said, no, I'm expensive to keep. There's a difference.
Yeah.
But I meant because what I meant because and he understood, because I'm over 6 feet tall, so that means I can't run to, you know, pay less
Yeah.
and say I got shoes, I got pants. I'm like, I need pants with a certain inseam. I need sleeves that look a certain way. I need
Right,
clothing that look a
right,
certain way. And we have a son that's 7 feet tall.
Oh my goodness.
So he knew that it's like, I mean, by the time he bought, the first, like even jeans for us,
Yeah.
we're talking about something else. We're talking about a different look, a different way of being. But the one thing that to me, because I see women do this all the time, they're like, I want to marry a rich man. And I said, but that's a setup, because if he's not generous,
Yeah.
just because a man is wealthy.
But my point was coming from not so much that he's not generous, it's just the perception of what we're looking for. He could be 100 and still be generous.
Yes.
He could be 1,000.
Yes.
He could be a 6-figure. He could be a millionaire. He could be an NFL star. But you're forgetting that although we're asking the men what do they want, and that's good, we're not talking about income, and that does matter.
You
have to be
but also one of the most important things is if a man has means, I call it the baller alert. See, a baller, if you want to date a baller, what you bringing to the table besides a big booty and a smile?
Well, but you didn't let me
that's
finish.
very important.
You also talked about the lady, you're getting what you want. That's fine. But with you getting what you want, the respect, the cooking, or whatever it is that you desire, what is she getting in return after she does all that?
Oh, I only
She
thought the
still
reason we did
wants-
this because we were letting the men do the payment.
But it
I'm just
depends on
asking-
the environment where you were raised, what you listened to.
But I'm just saying, this
right
is what
back to
people
the-
are thinking.
Like all of the TV shows, everything. This is our culture.
Right.
This is where we are.
Right.
And so then you have all of the songs and all of the people, and the people that's really in those spots, and they showing their homes and they going through it. Well, that affects you if you don't.
It
watch
does. It
yourself.
does.
Yeah.
And
It
so
does.
you
It
respond
does.
even in the wrong way.
It does.
Two people, like the Bible said, they can't even walk together unless they agree.
Unless they agree.
Guess what? You can't fight unless you agree. A certain spirit has to come in on you for a whole lot of different things. And what's happening is the wrong kind of spirits have come together.
Right.
I was listening to a teaching that was going on in China, where China is rising up economically. They're up doing really well.
Right.
Sure are.
And across the culture of the young ladies, most of them don't even want to be married. What's happening is they want a sugar daddy, because that's the image now over
Yep.
there.
That's the image.
You don't want to get married. Nobody. So anybody's trying to get married, they know. I'm looking for this guy that can set me up in these apartments.
That's right. That's what
And
I was
take care of
saying.
me.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm
These
saying.
condos.
That's the exact
Yeah.
thing
From
I
a
was
little
saying.
girl, from a this
Looking
it
for a
goes down
sugar
that
daddy.
far to a
Yeah.
little girl.
Because if not, you'll be
All
on the
that's
clock
in their mind
working.
is I just
forever.
want to get in that spot.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not trying to get no husband,
Yeah.
no children, or nothing. But if I can get there, I have made it.
I've made it.
So that
And
was
so
the point
in that,
you were making.
and that, so from that,
That's what's
this is
happening.
what the mindset of us. If I can get in this spot, I have made it.
Because the
No,
other,
you didn't make it.
the other spot
Yeah.
looks so
You
laborious.
missed it.
It looks. I mean, if you listen to how it sounds, I want a woman that submits, that cooks, that's always here for all of my needs, and you're constantly hearing this. Well, I'm not just talking about Christian men. You got to talk about all religions,
All
because
men.
everybody's listening around the world, so everybody may not believe the way you guys believe. So when I'm spreading it out, I just can't be just thinking about just how I think, because you never know who may tune into the show. They may
You
be
know- you
Buddha.
know how the
They
girl
may
is
be.
Do you know how the girls make it? The girls make it, and here's the culture of here's a perfect example. There was an owner of an NFL football team, and he's a multi-billionaire.
Okay.
And of course, the woman, she caught the big fish. But something happens when a man meets a woman, in the beginning, she's kind of simple. He falls in love with her. But then it's all about, the money. He's a billionaire. And so now he's like, she's in her high society. She's doing $1,500, $2,000 lunches. They're going to benefit. She wants to write the biggest check. Hey, honey, we're going to the Susan B. Coleman, he's tired of all these parties, $50,000 donating, $500,000. She can have that high society. He just wants something simple. Just because he's a billionaire doesn't mean he's a complex man. It means that he's just a billionaire. He's successful in what he does. And so what he does, he's tired of all that sideshow and all this high dollar lunches, and he meets a woman, and that's what that woman is ready to do. She's ready to be the doll, the Barbie doll. I put her up in a condo. I buy her a Ferrari. She's there for me when I need her. I can talk to her about the simple things, and that's the whole setup, and that's how that thing gets started. And it happens all the time with billionaires. You see it all the time. They're married to a woman, and then that woman flips, and she becomes a high society woman. And he's like, I'm not interested in that. But I'm interested in a down-to-earth woman, somebody I can talk to. And of course, she gets so fancy, it's no more doggy style.
But I think what Kim is trying to say, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, is that right now, it's like it was more back in the day where it was, right, I'll cook, I'll clean, I'll do this, I'll do that. But like she said, we still saw examples of women we were aspiring to be. Like, I want to live like she does. I don't see her going to work every day. She's always cute. She's this, that, and the other thing. And right now, more women are in the position where they're saying, if you don't come with a certain amount of money, then we're not going to have conversation, because I know you can't even, and even though the billionaire might say, well, I just want something simple, that's fine, but you're still a billionaire. Yep. So you introduced a lifestyle to me. Yep. So we don't get on the other side and be like, well, now, I'm a very simple person. I like hamburgers and french fries. That's wonderful, baby. And while you're eating your hamburger and french fries, I'm gonna have my steak. And that's okay. You can be simple, but I'm still gonna get my $2,000 weed. You can be simple, but I'm still gonna rock my red bottoms. So if you introduce me to a lifestyle, if you come with a lifestyle, you can still say, hey, babe, you're pushing the envelope. I'm not as comfortable with this. But to backtrack and try and pull away from what you introduced, because I promise you, as a billionaire, he was showing that car.
Yes, he was.
He was showing that house. Now, when he was hunting, when he was like trying to reel her in, he wasn't saying, baby, I just want to get you a hamburger and fries. He was like, why don't we go to Del Frisco's? Why don't we go sit here? Why don't we go do that?
What I'm saying is, I think maybe I need to make it clear. Two different things. If they came up together, like when they met, and then he began to come up and they begin to rise, that's one thing.
Yes.
And then but both, or she meets him and he begins to woo her with this. But what happens is a man can sense when a woman flips the script. When you no longer love me. You in love
my money.
With the money.
My things.
And if I lose all this money, I know I lose you.
Yeah.
And so that's not, I'm not talking about where, he it's a certain lifestyle you live. You can't put her in a Rolls Royce and then put her in a Honda Accord.
You sure can.
I always say a big booty got to sit on leather. You can't have cloth seats. You got a woman with a big booty. But that's a whole nother show. Anyway, y'all know it. You think about it now. You be like, that's true. I've seen a woman with a big booty. You always got leather seats. You got a Beamer, Bentley, Benz, something. Because it's leather. Big booty, got to stay on leather. So anyway, that's a tip for y'all out there.
Okay, I have, this says here, these women don't want a man unless money is attached to him. Is that true, Megan?
Yeah.
But that's the one that she associates with.
Let me go ahead with
That's in her ears because that's what she's hanging around with. I think that's part of what that is. It's our culture has a lot of effect on all of us.
Yeah,
so we have to stop ourselves to say what we will do and what we won't. It's just no different when I was younger coming. I wanted to be accepted by my friends, my peers, and all of that. But I already had stop signs inside of me. Okay. I'll go so far with you, bro. To this point, I don't do that.
Amen. Come on.
You know what I'm saying? So it become a culture type thing. Like you saying, like the calling your wife the old lady and all that. Another one you call your dad my old man. But I couldn't do that. I stop him right there. I don't do that. I don't do that.
Yeah.
I call my father the old man and stuff like whatever. Man, how's your old man? No, I don't do that. And so everything is a certain spot that you have where you stop. But who tells you to stop? Either you have it inside of you or you'll never stop. There's no limit to where you are. So the culture itself has an effect. In the early part of the United States, like when we're talking about this, we're talking about like for blacks and whites and all of that. Well, even during the time there was the rise of, I'm trying to think of his name. George Washington Carver and all of them, right, moving in that area. It was an era where the blacks are trying to make that change and all of that. And two of the main leaders that were going across the country, one of them was saying, go to work. Get out there and get the jobs. Get skills.
Yeah.
That was the main thing that went all across the country, way before my time. But I talked to people that lived during the era. And then there was the other guy, I can't think of his name. He was more of, no, we want to go all the way up to the top with businesses.
Yes.
Not you don't get out there and work.
Yeah.
You don't do that. And so when I was listening to him talk, I said, what was the difference? He said, well, one of them stayed with us and went through it all, while the other one walked off. He's telling you, go way up there to the top, but there's no way to get up there. And so the movement went across the country, where a lot of them became carpenters and plumbers and janitors, and all the way across, because that's who covered the whole country. All of the waiters and the porters and
Oh
the
my
train.
goodness,
So I
yes.
met people that were like that, and they say, I spent my whole life on the train.
Yep, they have
And this
clubs
is
called
what
the
I
waiters.
did.
and
But
porters.
while I was there, I raised all of my kids.
Mhm.
This one got this degree, and this one had this, and this, that, and this, on and on and on. But a lot of people didn't talk about that. It wasn't like, I can't touch that. No, everybody was doing it. But while he was doing, the women were working too. But it also affected people different ways. Another thing caught my attention when I first came to Texas. There was a couple that had a good image in our community. And he was like a professor, and his wife was a teacher. But I didn't know they lived a separated life in the house. Because these are my friends' mother and father. Now, on the outside, they had a perfect image.
Yeah, see, that's
You know, like one of them TV images. But in that house, they were separated. One on one side and one on the other, and they lived that whole life in front of their kids. I didn't find out until after he passed and everything. When my aunt knew them personally, he said he got mad at her because she started working. Because he wanted her to sit at home and not have a job. Not that, but I want to put her in the spot to say, I did this. And you don't have to work.
And she
wanted to work. She went and got a degree to be a teacher and all that. And it made him so mad, they separated. What's so bad is in front of the kids.
Wow. So all the kids.
Now, as far as finances and everything, all they had there. Anything you asked for, the image.
They got it.
All of that stuff is perfect from the outside. But what about the effect that it had?
Do you remember Will and Jada Smith? Obviously, recently, you know, she was talking about her entanglement. But
Fair entanglement.
they've always been on social media, and it's like hashtag relationship goals, hashtag relationship goals. And it's like people would always look at them and say, oh, that's what I want to be like.
Yeah, I want to be just
I want to be just like them.
Right, have an
But-
open marriage.
Yeah.
That's the thing now.
But they said, you know, when people were like, oh, you know, they had an open marriage. That was the rumor. When you looked at Will Smith's face,
There
when
was no open marriage.
there was no open marriage.
Right, his
And
face-
then
his face-
she
no.
wouldn't
Facebook
even
would
be
a word.
honest enough to say, because when you say, hey, let's talk about it, she called it, and she carefully worded it to say, I would say it was an entanglement. And to me, just watching
His expression.
not just his expression, but watching the both of them,
Right.
something occurred so that she lost respect for him, because it wasn't just, oh, I'm gonna step out. It was, you did something you could, because you know, like one of the things I do, like when we go minister someplace or we go to a church, the pastor can preach his heart out, but I'm watching his wife.
I used to do that too.
I am watching his wife. I don't care if he is praying in the spirit and
I used to do
shouting
that.
and dancing. I will watch your
his
wife's
wife.
face. If you are who you are on the platform at home, I'll see it on your wife's
That's
face.
right.
If that is you acting, I will see it on your wife's face. And I'll just be like, oh, glory. But no. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so people are trying to model themselves after people, and we don't know what's happening in their home. We know that they've got the money, they got this and that. But once she said entanglement, it's like she wasn't even willing to admit. And I said, so not only are they not honest with us, I said, y'all aren't even honest with each other. Because if you're going to pull me to a table and say, let's talk about what happened. And you could look at his face and he was like, that wasn't no open marriage face. That wasn't, but when she called it an entanglement, she wasn't even willing to say, listen, I stepped out on you.
But don't you feel like she didn't have respect for herself or her kids or,
Because that was her son's friend.
Right, that was her son's friend. So she didn't have any respect for either or. And plus they did it in the home.
But what I'm saying is when it says hashtag relationship goals, like, oh, I want to be like them. I want to be like them.
Yeah.
And it's like,
look at the whole
yeah,
picture.
before you start modeling yourself after somebody,
you don't know what's going
like you're
on.
saying, you don't know what's happening. Haven't you ever just met people and you saw them from afar off and you asked the Lord, you're like, Lord, I want to hang out with them. And you hang out with them and you're like, Lord, this was a bad idea. I don't even know what's happened. Or they'll say, oh, I just, like, they want you to kind of maybe come along and mentor you or something. Because we've had wonderful mentors in our lives, but I've never met someone who I want my marriage to be just like theirs.
No, you don't know.
I've never met.
You never know what's going on in their marriage.
Right.
So we can always act good. Cause see, like when we first, I would cuss him out on the way to church. As soon as I get out, I'm holding on, loving him, and I'll get back in there.
I just look at him.
I'll cuss him out again.
So we need to look at the preaching.
Yeah. Look at the preaching, But so we can always put up these personas and everything and try to, pretend like it's everything, all this, but no, it's not. And we have to be very careful who we're trying to be example and go after that. You never know how that person's spirit is.
Right.
So what we do is we just love each other. We have our respect. We go on. But we grow into whatever it is you grow.
Yes.
We can't change anybody, but you can help change yourself.
Right.
You can work on yourself. But I know it's getting close to our time is out, but I want to ask Brother Delord, because he wasn't here when we asked the question before. What are you looking for in a woman? What do you want out of a woman? Because he is a single man.
I was like, ladies, he's single.
So let's tell us what you're looking for and what turns you off with a woman.
Okay. What I'm looking for in a woman, because I am a minister, is a woman that's going to come up to where I'm at. Mm-hmm. And you can tell right off the bat, some women, when you talk to them, when you talk to them, you can say, no, you ain't the one.
Say right now,
you ain't the one. So mainly, I want a woman. I'm gonna tell y'all, and this is kind of funny. Like Adrian was a great wife, and I'm gonna say this. Adrian was such a great wife, I ain't never cheat on her. Mm-hmm. And I did cheat on my wife before, but it was because of because of the relationship. Mm-hmm. But Adrian was such a woman. I mean, I had opportunities, and there's no way. I mean, at one point when she had to leave the house, I had women knocking on my door. No one ever, when she had to move out for a while, and I lived there by myself for almost a year. And not one woman ever stepped across my doorstep. But
amen.
And a lot of times because I talk about her a lot, and sometimes when I date somebody, they say, you should talk about her a lot. I'm not trying to make you like her, right? But she had qualities that I'm looking for. Those are the type of qualities. She was the type of woman that I would marry again.
So that was your standard.
But what did you like about her?
Well, first of all, me and Adrian was friends, because when I met her, I actually told her I was not looking for a relationship because I just got a divorce. And she said, okay, we'll just be friends. And we were friends. And I met her in January. I never even stepped in her house until May of that year. And we never, whenever we were friends, and we would go out on a date and we drive our own cars. I even started doing her lawn, and she would bring me breakfast to the car. I didn't go in her house, and that's what I liked about her. She wasn't trying to get me to be intimate with her, and there was no pressure from me and no pressure from her. And like I said, the story. I hadn't even told her that I loved her. Until the prophet told me that she was my wife. And not only did I tell her that I loved her, but I even proposed to her the next day. So we were truly friends, and like people saw us coming to church together, they thought we were a couple, but we were friends. We were just friends, and we just liked to do stuff together. And she worked for the newspaper. She had the hookup. she had all kind of things we could do for free that cost a lot of money. We could do for free. You remember we went to the baseball game? We sat, me and pastor and co-pastor and two of our friends went to Rangers game.
Good time.
Sat right behind bald-headed Nolan.
I was enjoying that.
We were right behind home plate.
That's
She just had a wonderful way about her. So like I do want to be married again one of these days, but y'all know it's been 4 years, so y'all see I haven't been in no big rush. So like I want a woman that want to live holy. Bottom line.
So what turns you off from a woman though?
A woman that don't want to live holy.
That was quick enough.
That was quick enough.
Right.
Yeah, and most of them, and there's a lot of them out there that, they don't care about you, and it's the enemy trying to tear you down when they come at you inappropriately, and try to get you to fall. You just have to be careful, and it really don't take a long time to find out who that lady is, and for women, it don't take a long time to find out who that man is. It works both ways, because you can find out who he is if just because he take you out to a steak dinner. That don't mean you got to go back to his apartment.
Yes.
And give up the booty.
That's true.
The grapes. The grapes.
Oh, the grapes.
The grapes or the apple.
No grapes or
And
apple.
then if they expect you to, if that man expect you
He's not the one.
to go that route, then you know that he's not for you.
Yeah, he's
Because
not
the
the
woman,
one.
you're not trying to be with nobody like that. That's not who you're looking for. You want to be with somebody who's going to respect you from the very beginning.
That's true.
And then it has to grow from a friendship to a relationship.
Amen. All right, that
Amen. I
was
like
good.
that.
Okay, thank you all. I think these men are good. I think they did an awesome job tonight. You all, y'all have really been. I mean, this has really been. Did y'all enjoy this?
Yes.
This was
Yes.
nice to hear points and inputs from these men that married, single, what are they looking for? But also, we just have to be careful.
Right.
Pray and ask God to lead you to the right person. Women, y'all wait. Stop trying to pursue all these men sometimes. It said a man that finds what did it say though?
A wife finds a good thing.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
Obtains
I just want to see if they knew the scripture. But anyway, I appreciate you all for taking the time out to be on the Men Panel, Part 1 and Part 2. This was just so inspirational to us, encouraging. I hope you have been blessed from hearing what they have shared with you tonight from both parts, from men, single, and all that. And we're gonna come back again later on when Keith can come back. Cause Keith said he ain't doing this but one more time. So I got him 2 times on here tonight, so I might not get Keith back on in a while. So, but anyway, we thank you all for being on the show. The Lord, Doggy Style, Keith, and Chris. Chris just walked in. I just put him on the show. And my husband been married 38 years, y'all. He ain't going nowhere. Cause I'm gonna keep changing my wigs.
Amen.
I'm gonna be any woman he want me to be, baby. I just pop out. Woo! But I'm gonna get me some more sexy clothes from Victoria's Secrets. I heard that tonight. So, baby, I'm gonna get me some Victoria's Secrets. And it's gonna be called Elma Secrets, okay? All right, thank you all. Always tune in on Mondays and Thursdays with the Talk of Life Talk Show with Elma, Kimberley, and Linda. And we will be having other guests. And Marian is going to be on our show coming up in January. And so we're excited for her. Go back and look at Penella Thompson show on our YouTube and Facebook. She was awesome. She's an author. Again, tune in, face to face. We love you.
Good night.
Signing off. Good night.